what's up you guys? It's Erica. Today I just wanted to sit down, get nice and cozy, and try to give some advice for people who are going into college or university this fall. I am going into my third year of university this fall, so I'd like to think that I have some experience, some knowledge of what it's like. And I'm definitely able to recognize some of the mistakes that I made freshman year and some of the things that I wish I had known. So I have about 10 tips. They're all written down in this notebook. And I'm just going to kind of go from least important to what I think is the most important. And I really just hope that this can help, like, at least one person, because I know when I was going into university, I was so anxious and scared, and I spent so much time watching YouTube videos. I just hope this helps someone. Okay, so my first tip is a little easier said than done for people like me who are very anxious, especially socially. But it's basically just to take risks socially and really put yourself out there and make friends. Again, I know it can be easier said than done, but I have a few ways to make that happen a little easier. The first thing relating to that is before you start school, try to find either a Facebook group. I think now they're making like Instagram pages, but any type of group for your year or your program. For me, I was able to find a Facebook group of all the people that were entering my year in all programs, and then someone posted in the group saying they were going to make a Snapchat group for my program. So just try to find something like that, and if you can't, then make it yourself. Like, just try to connect with people who are going into your program or your year, because chances are they're all just as scared and nervous as you are to make new friends and meet new people. It's really important to remember that everyone is starting off at the same place. Everyone's starting off fresh. Nobody has impressions of you yet. Like, nobody knows what you were like in high school or elementary school or anything. So just try to put yourself out there socially. As scary as it can be, I feel like becoming part of those groups and stuff and being able to talk to each other, find your classes together, I feel like that helped me so much. And even though I'm not like super close with all the people that were in that group, there's still like people that I see on an everyday basis during school. The second tip I have is so important, and that is to respect your professors. You're not like 12 anymore. It's not like cool to make fun of your teachers. Like, you're paying thousands of dollars to get taught by these people. Obviously, there are cases where you're not going to like a professor, but at the end of the day, I think it's so important to respect them. If there is a bigger issue and a reason why you don't like them, you don't think they're a good teacher, try to do something about it. Try to tell someone. But chances are, if you respect a professor, you're going to get respect in return. And I think it's also important, with that being said, to make connections with your professor. Try to make sure that your professor at least knows your name. I know it can be hard in classes of hundreds of people, but even if you don't get a chance to talk to them in person, even just like sending them emails sometimes, obviously don't annoy them, don't email them 24/7. But if you have a question about something and you can email them or pop into their office hours or just go up to them after class, like just any way to kind of make yourself known. So as intimidating as it can be, just be nice to your professors. Try to connect with them. They can be such good connections, especially like in your industry when you're trying to find a job later on. So yeah, just be nice to your professors. The next tip or piece of advice that I have is don't buy textbooks or additional supplies immediately. This is so important, especially in first year when you don't really know what your program is going to be like, but even in years to come, don't buy textbooks immediately, because chances are you either aren't going to need it or you can find a cheaper way to buy it. I'm going into third year, and I'm sure every program varies, but there have been very few times where I've actually needed to buy a textbook for a class. And now, if I need a textbook, I'll usually split the price with one of my friends and we'll share it. But yeah, most of the time, even if your professor like sends out a syllabus and there's a textbook in it, like wait until you actually have class with them and hear them say like the textbook is mandatory, you really need it. Also, go on Rate My Prof. Try to find reviews for that class and see if they said that they needed the textbook, because most of the time you don't. Also, don't buy full price. Try to find it used either at your bookstore or online. I know, like, again, Facebook groups, a lot of the time people will sell their old books. But yeah, don't buy textbooks immediately, and most of the time, don't buy them full price unless that is your last resort. Next is something that is incredibly important, especially first year when you're in a new environment and you're not used to everything, and that is finding your school and social life balance. I feel like the biggest thing with this is finding spaces on campus that are your productive study spaces and finding spaces on campus that are more your hangout spaces. Like I have certain spaces where I will go when I'm going to be alone and I'm going to be doing work, and I have other places that I go where I'm just hanging out with one of my friends. Obviously, it goes past that too, like spending time actually studying and doing work rather than partying 24/7. But I feel like one of my more lesser known tips is to find dedicated spaces to study and be productive, and find dedicated spaces to hang out and relax, because I feel like that'll help your mindset so much more, and it makes it so much easier to focus when you know, okay, I'm here to do work, or okay, I'm here and I don't really need to do work or focus on anything. My next tip is to find your classes beforehand. This can be so beneficial. Whether you're able to go on a campus tour after you get your classes, or you just go to campus one day and you find the buildings, I feel like it's so important to find your classes, especially if you have back-to-back classes. It's so important to be able to know how to get to the first one and then quickly get to the second one. But yeah, it'll just make you so much less nervous and scatterbrained if you actually know where your classes are and know how to get to them before school starts. Obviously, it's totally fine to get lost and ask people where certain places are. Personally, I feel like it's so much more comforting to know how to get to them beforehand. The next tip is to track your due dates at the very start of the semester. I only started doing this like halfway through second year, or maybe at the beginning of second year, but I started doing this thing where when I would get my syllabus at the beginning of the semester, which also, if you don't know what a syllabus is, basically your professor will give you this package of papers with all like the rules for the class, any materials that you need, assignments, the mark breakdown, sometimes a rubric, just like anything you need for the class will be in the syllabus. So what I like to do at the beginning of this semester for all of my classes is I take all the due dates in the syllabus and I put them in the little reminders app on my MacBook. And I feel like that just helps me a lot, because it can get kind of confusing when you have like so many due dates for different classes to put them in like chronological order, because sometimes I feel like I kind of like put one class to the side and I really focus on like a couple other classes, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's so helpful to be able to see all of the assignments you have for that semester. It can be a little overwhelming at the beginning, but it really helps to have a bit of like a checklist, and it helps so much with time management. I just find it very valuable and beneficial to write down all your due dates from every class and have them in one spot for the whole semester. Something that I feel like a lot of people forget quite often is to remember how much you're paying for this. I understand the whole like college experience and wanting to have fun, but personally, I'm not paying tuition to go to parties, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, I have been guilty of skipping class more times than I would like to admit, but you're paying to learn and get a college education. And if you're wasting that money by either partying way too much, by skipping your classes, by not paying attention in class and not learning, basically what I'm saying is remember the thousands of dollars that you're paying to get this education. Yes, you can have fun, but balance it out, take it seriously, and get your money's worth out of your education and actually learn and be interested and put time and effort into learning, and just get the most out of your education. I sound like such a mom right now. Like, don't party. That's not what I mean. Like, obviously go to parties, but like just balance it out and just make your education worth it. My next tip, I have this listed as the third most important, is don't give up on a class. And this actually goes for very hard and also more easy or pointless classes. So for example, if you're taking a very hard class that you can't get out of, whether it's a required class or it's past the date to drop the class, just don't give up on it. Like, don't just start skipping classes and take the L. Like, try your best to continue to at least focus on the content and learn. Even if you're not fully understanding it and you're not getting the best marks, still try to get the most out of that class. And it also goes the other way. So a little story time that's a bit embarrassing. Second semester of my first year, I took a class that was super easy for me. It was Photoshop, and I already knew pretty much everything that we learned. So because of that, I didn't have much motivation to go to class. So I skipped class a lot because I actually commute. So if I don't feel like I need to go to a class. I had the habit of not going to it, which is not good. But also, this class had participation marks. So that meant that I had to be in class to get these marks. And long story short, I ended up failing the class and I still have yet to make up for that credit. So it's like so stupid. It was such an easy class and it should have been an easy A for me, but since I didn't go to class, I failed it by like 4% or something. So basically, either way, if a class is very hard or it's very easy, don't give up on it, go to class, and learn from my mistakes, because that is one of my biggest regrets so far of my college career. My second biggest tip is to let go of high school. For some people, this may sound very easy, like you're super ready to just be independent. You may be moving away from where you went to high school and like kind of saying goodbye to everyone already. But for some people, it could also seem super hard because like high school and the past 4 years of your life and all the friends you've made are your life. Either way, that's okay. But it's important to remember that no matter what, you and your friends are gonna become distant if you're going to different schools, and that's okay. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have a best friend and you're going to different schools, then it's totally fine for you guys to continue to be best friends and make the effort for that friendship. But all I'm saying is that if you do become distant, that's okay. It's a new like chapter in your life. It's such a bigger world that you're being exposed to and so many more people. And it's the perfect time if you want to reinvent yourself, get a fresh start. I honestly don't really talk to many people from high school. I mean, like I have them on social media and stuff. I'll occasionally message them if I want to, but like all the friends I had, like I honestly don't really talk to them. And I mean, it's a little sad to like lose friends, but like you're both moving on and you're kind of moving on to bigger and better things, if that makes sense. Keep that in mind, that if you do become distant or if your friend becomes distant, that's okay, because it's normal and it's a new experience for everyone and a new chapter of your life. My number one tip for you, if you are going to be a freshman in college or high school, is to take advantage of the opportunities that you have. This could be so many things, but in general, your experience in college or university is what you make of it. Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock. Like, I'm serious though, like, it truly is what you make of it. Your experience can go so many different ways depending on what you do. So first of all, what I was saying earlier, like partying, skipping class all the time, or partying a little bit and actually going to class and focusing, you'll get two very different experiences. Also, special events, panels, guest speakers, stuff like that, if your program or your school does those, take advantage of them. This can also go for services or facilities that your school has. So for example, I have a gym membership included in my tuition. I'm going into third year and I have never gone to my school's gym once. That's bad. I should be taking advantage of it while I can, because I bet you when I graduate, I'm gonna regret not taking advantage of that. Also things like counseling. I know my school has a lot of workshops for like writing and stuff like that. Just really, if you need help, or even if you just are interested in something and your school offers something related to it, take advantage of it. That's what it's there for. It is there for students like you to take advantage of. Basically, just take advantage of anything that your school is offering you, because most of the time it's of little to no charge and you can't really get it otherwise. But yeah, in general, college or university truly is what you make of it, and I know that it can be scary. I mean, I have such bad anxiety, and starting university was genuinely terrifying for me. Like, I didn't think I would be able to make any friends. I was the least independent person in the world. Like, going on the subway every day terrified me. All my classes were like overwhelming, but you get through it and you get used to it, and honestly, time flies by so quickly. Like, I do not feel like I'm going into third year right now. Honestly, I feel like I'm going into second year. But truly, if I can leave you with like one greater message, it is take advantage of everything that you have, and I mean that in the most positive way. And I know I didn't mention this the whole time. I know that obviously this is a very weird time to be graduating and to be starting a new journey, and classes will likely be online for most of you during at least the fall semester, which does kind of suck. I had classes online for some of last semester. I mean, there's pros and cons. Obviously, getting to like be in bed or like in your room and be walking class, pretty great, especially for someone like me who usually has to commute. But obviously you're missing out on a lot, and I mean, it obviously sucks and I don't want to sugarcoat that. But again, just try to make the best of it. Try to still, even if you're not going on campus at the very beginning, try to still make friends through social media. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry if this wasn't really focused around like parties or like sororities, because I haven't experienced those things very much, if at all. But I hope you still got something out of this, got some comfort out of it, because I know that when I was going into school, I really looked to YouTube for some comfort when I was really stressed about it. But yeah, if you have any questions or you just want someone to talk to about starting college or university, leave a comment down below. DM me on Instagram. My Instagram's always in the description. If you DM me with any questions, I would be happy to answer them to the best of my ability, or just talk to you if you're stressed out or you're nervous. You're gonna do great. You're gonna have a great 3, 4, 5, however many years you are going to school for. Just make the best out of it, especially in these times. I hope someone enjoyed this and got some help from it. That's about all I have to say. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers. That means the world to me. I know to some people that's a super small number, but as someone who has wanted to start a YouTube channel for about half of my life now, it's a big deal to finally be doing it and actually getting some support. So yeah, that means the world to me. I love you guys so much. I hope you are staying safe and staying sane during these times. Stay safe, stay hydrated, wash your hands. Love you.